Not something we want to see here in Southern California.
Chilling recording. Video inadvertently caught. The very beginning of the wildfires in California. The Pacific Palisades, to be more specific. We now have the flashpoint. We know the aftermath. The aftermath that ensued immediately after. We still don't know the full impact and extent of the damage. But until this point, all we could watch were the videos as home after home was destroyed. Photos, videos that are just tough to take in. But immediately after that video comes out, immediately after all this destruction, chaos breaks out. Because now it's going to be a game of CYA. Because what you're looking at here is one of the reservoirs that could have, nobody's yet prepared to say prevented, nor should they at this point, too big of an investigation needed, but could this have limited the damage? Because what you're looking at is an empty reservoir. And now information swirling, information coming out everywhere about how the internal Democrat structure of California and LA is in disarray, because this is about to be part of the root cause analysis, a fancy term for why the F did this happen. And that's the story I'll bring you here in just 1 minute. Man, there's so much news to cover right now. We're going to stay focused on, well, this story primarily today. But I promise you, over the next week, there are things breaking loose in the White House. There are things breaking loose across this nation because everyone's trying to cover their proverbial behinds, including the Biden administration. At the very end of this video, I'm going to show you something that is shocking. That they are coming out and admitting something that they had called all of us absolute liars about. But it seems like that's everywhere now, isn't it? Facebook suddenly coming out and leaking all the information, exactly what the Biden administration did, the calls that they received, the screaming, the yelling, take down those posts. Because these people may know what they're talking about. We created an entire platform. We reached into our pockets the worst possible time in the middle of the pandemic when money was drying up for everyone. Everybody's just trying to figure out how to get by. And what did we do? We forward spend. Because there was information about the pandemic that we wanted to bring you so badly. Information that now you could put out. Back then, not so much. And now we continue to do the same thing every single day about every single story at restrictedrepublic.com. Are you there yet? Lisa came to me one day. She's like, I need a platform. What can you do? I said, well, let's build one. You build it, they'll come, and they certainly have, because people value news, real news, and that's what we do at Restricted Republic. We got monthly or annual subscriptions. You can cancel immediately after your subscription period. No problem. Go on your dashboard and do so. We don't want to hold you hostage there. We just want to give you the news that matters. And we work day and night to do so. If you believe in what Lisa does, if you believe in what we are doing here to provide you news, unfiltered and uncensored, go to Restricted Republic. No commercials. We're beholden to no one. No advertisers. Nothing. It's audience-funded news. And it only survives if you subscribe. So if you can get to Restricted Republic today, I can't tell you how much it would mean to us, because there is information, I promise you, that you can get nowhere else. You could turn down all your notifications. They're not necessary, because we'll cover everything that's critically important. No fluff, no filler. Just cold, hard facts. That's restrictedrepublic.com. Get there today. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Lisa's channel. Make sure your bell is checked to all so you're alerted to upcoming broadcasts, and she'll put a link just above. If you can subscribe to my channel, can't tell you how much that means to us. But now let's get back to this story.
Let me hear.
I'm just going to play this in the background because I don't think anybody should have to listen to it. The Democrats, the Senate Democrats, have come out and put out a video. I'm going to tell you how this relates to this story. About how they represent you. And we're here not to work against anyone. No, we're here to make sure your lives are better. Well, how did that age after the last 4 years, huh? They got some rock music in the background. They're trying to have a resurgence pretty soon. They'll be singing Imagine, I'm sure. But those Democrats and the structure that they built failed each and every American. And it continues to fail us through today. I love the responses after this video. Now they're going to fight for workers and their families. Exactly where have you been, Johnny come lately? So you're all done crushing the railroad union strikes, flooding the country with millions of desperate people to suppress wages, and all it took was you and me and everyone who voted them out to wake them up, I guess, by giving Trump and a Republican Congress. Who knew it'd be that easy, huh? Well, it is that easy. Because under the structure of the Democrats, this is what you get. You have no unified response to protect people's homes. Remember, and I've covered this broadcast after broadcast now, they truly believe that the climate's getting warmer, things are getting more dangerous, wildfires are going to break out if we don't change things, but yet they did nothing that staved off the disaster in California. So if you subscribe to that and believe that like they do, then why this? When you have an awfully big body of water right next to you, maybe a few pumping stations, because if you subscribe to your beliefs and you act on your beliefs and you did a root cause analysis, you realize that, well, you had everything you needed to prevent it, but did nothing to do so. And thankfully, inadvertently, a camera catches the very beginning. A recording, I'll let you listen to part of it. Uh-oh. 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 This isn't something we want to see in California. So now we know here's how it all started. But it's what happens afterwards that is so telling as to what we're going to be hearing about for many weeks and months to come.
It's a big deal. Not something we want to see here in Southern California. A fire has now broke out. That is looking like Encino. Not what we want to see here in Southern California. A fire has now broke out there in the hills. I believe it's looking toward possibly Bel Air, Encino. This was the concern for many with the high winds, and as dry as they are, weather watch in full effect. With these high winds, boy, that fire can spread really quickly.
That fire could spread really quickly. And it did. The Palisades fire. Bill Melugin putting that out. His former colleague, and Bill Melugin was the one who posted this video. They captured the videos the moment the fire broke out. But there was warnings the week before. National Weather Service, conditions are horrible. Winds are coming. Hurricane force winds. Man, if I was in charge, I think I'd want to start preparing, huh? I better make sure I got every available bit of water, even if it's not enough, because I have to help. Because if it was able to be contained, although not stopped, would have spread everywhere else it did. Well, here's how they prepared. With an empty reservoir. Information coming out. This on the LA Times. They go on in great detail. A large reservoir in Pacific Palisades, where that video came from, where the origin point now appears to be, that is part of the Los Angeles water supply system, was out of commission when a ferocious wildfire destroyed thousands of homes and other structures nearby. But it's the chaos that breaks out after this that shows how much disarray is happening within the Democrat Party in California. Officials said that the Santa Ynez Reservoir had been closed since about February for repairs to its cover. Well, why wasn't it fixed? Leaving 117 million gallon water storage complex empty in the heart of the Palisades. Why wasn't it fixed? Things go in disrepair. I get that. But did you find out why? Could it have been done quicker? The revelation comes amid growing questions about why firefighters ran out of water when battling the blaze, which ignited Tuesday during catastrophically high winds. The Times reported earlier Wednesday that numerous fire hydrants in higher elevation streets of Palisades went dry, leaving crews struggling with low water pressure as they combated the flames. Furious residents have pointed to the lack of water pressure as one factor contributing to the destruction of 5,300 homes and buildings in LA, Santa Monica, and Malibu. Civic leaders like LA City Council member Tracy Park and developer Rick Caruso, I've covered it many times now, have pointed to the issue as a sign of poor infrastructure upkeep. Boy, that's shocking under Democrat leadership, huh? But what about the infrastructure bill? Did a lot. Revelations about the reservoir brought condemnation from the DWP union. Here we go. It's completely unacceptable that this reservoir was empty for almost a year. Newsom cuts off that potential water supply coming out of the hills from thawing snow. Now we got to save the smelt. We're going to take out one of our reservoirs, even though we know that, according to us, wildfires are going to break out everywhere. We're going to take it offline. This is Gus Corona, business manager at IBEW Local 18, which represents rank and file DWP employees. This work should have been done in-house. But what they did is they signed with a contractor to do it. I wonder if somebody was maybe greasing a wheel there a little bit. No, that would never happen. We wouldn't try to take care of those who maybe supported us on election. We're going to find out. Because Gavin Newsom decided, well, he's going to launch an investigation. He doesn't have a choice, folks. What else is he going to do? Say no investigation, we're just going to let it sit? Of course not. I'm calling for an independent investigation into the loss of water pressure to local fire hydrants and reported unavailability of water. You didn't know that in the first place? You didn't know your reservoir was empty? Good leadership there, Gavin. Guess you're spending a little bit too much time getting that hair ready for your press conferences, huh? We need answers to ensure this does not happen again. No shoot, Sherlock. Brilliant statement. But it's going to boil back to the highest paid city employee, isn't it? Quinones, $750,000 a year. Her job is to maintain the water supply. Fail. You expect she'd be terminated nearly immediately, right? Well, reports initially coming out saying that, but immediately, oh, no, not so quick. You see, what the Democrats do when they're put in a corner and a disaster like this happens is they turn on one another. From mayor to fire chief to the CEO and chief engineer of the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power, Janice Quinones, gets the letter from Newsom. Look at what happened, and I want a full investigation as to why our reservoir was empty and why this disaster spiraled out of control, wasn't limited in its damages. However, Janice Quinones said the tanks could not be refilled fast enough, and that demand at lower elevation hampered the ability to pump water to tanks at higher elevations. That's been an ongoing concern in California. It should be nothing new. Maybe more pumping stations, maybe a tap into that big ocean for emergency supplies. Because if you believe in your agenda and your belief system, your job would be to reinforce against it, to assure a disaster that you've said time and time and time again could happen because of current climate conditions. Well, you did a pretty piss-poor job now, didn't you? Quinones said 4 times the usual demand for water on the trunk line over a 15-hour period led to drops in water pressure. Yeah, that's what happens when you have a major disaster, isn't it? Not trying to armchair quarterback here. This is a disaster of a scale that most can't comprehend unless they're sitting in the middle of it. And our thoughts and our prayers are with each and every family person affected by this. But there is a need for an investigation. Can something have been done to limit the damage? Obviously, it's too late to prepare now. All you could do is look forward and don't worry the fire chief comes out. You remember her, don't you? I told you they turn on each other immediately. And so she answers some questions to point the finger of blame at Mayor Bass. Oh, it's so nice to see when it starts to twist, isn't it? Chaos erupts immediately thereafter.
What is your message to city administrators, starting with Mayor Bass?
My message is the fire department needs to be properly funded.
And it's not.
It's not at this point, and we've got the justification. We know where our gaps in service are. We know we need 62 new fire stations. We need to double the size of our firefighters. The growth of this city since 1960 has doubled, and we have less fire stations.
Ouch. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts. Mayor Bass must have been so happy with that comment. How dare you point the finger of blame at me and blow my vacation out in Africa? Oh, yeah. So, of course, rumors swirled. Daily Mail putting out this article, since allegedly debunked, by the way. LA Fire Chief is dismissed by Mayor Karen Bass after lashing out over department cuts as deadly blazes devastate the city. She doesn't want to lose her job. It's not my fault, it's her fault. And Bass is like, it's not my fault, it's her fault. And Newsom's like, it's not my fault, it's their fault. Welcome to a lack of results. But this story, later on, after Mayor Karen Bass's office says the fire chief is not fired. Oh, wait, now you reacted to that rather quickly, didn't you? The mayor and chief met. The priority remains fighting these fires and protecting Angelitos. That's the quickest response you've given so far. Took you a day to get back home, didn't it now? Oh, don't worry, your people won't forget Mayor Bass. I guarantee you that. So Daily Mail has to change their story. Chaos is LA Fire Chief called in to be fired by the mayor, but says she is still in her job. Boy, confusion ensues. Hard to finger point and stab somebody in the back at the same time, isn't it? And that's what they're doing. They're going to implode now. Unless Gavin Newsom steps in and maintains control of the chaos, I guess. But what do the people of California and LA and Malibu and Palisades, what do they get in return? This. You see, when you have poor leadership and poor preparedness, you get disaster. Same thing that's happened on a national level for us, in most of our opinion. The devastation, the destruction of an absolutely beautiful coastline. Homes wiped off the face of the earth now. Insurance carriers, in many cases, not covering these homes. And now the finger pointing starts with an empty reservoir. An early indication. National Weather Service telling you ahead of time. Your belief system telling you years ahead of time that this was a potential. We need to change everything. We need to get to net zero immediately. We have to change and prepare. Well, your preparation failed. You're judged by your results. You're judged by your results at work. I'm judged every day by the videos of what we prepare. And so I could only go to the results. I know, one video. Uh-oh. 3 times. As you watch the beginning, the tinderbox in the Pacific Palisades, a critical reservoir left empty. And now the finger pointing will begin. Lisa and I promise you updates on this story as they'll become available, as they become more poignant. But you know, there's a story I want to end with here. One that we've covered for many, many years. One you're never supposed to speak of. Shh. Health.military. The official website of the military health system. The story I promised you at the end of this video. Anomalous health incidents are known as Havana syndrome. They're rare conditions that first occurred in 2016. Employees of the U.S. Embassy in Havana, Cuba described sudden, unexplained head pressure, head or ear pain, dizziness, or more. Remember that story I covered for you the other day? General Mark Miley, rumors swirling now that he may have used such a tool, an instrument. And somebody's going to come out with this information soon. And why do I think that's going to happen? Well, because the White House wants to talk with Trump. So what are these symptoms? dizziness, emotional distress, headache, hearing loss, insomnia, mild confusion, nausea, slow thinking, and many other conditions outside of that. In recent years, other federal employees reported a series of sudden and disturbing sensory events. The scientific community understanding of AHI, anomalous health incidents, is still evolving. The Department of Defense is committing to guaranteeing people affected by AHI to get the right medical care as quickly as possible. And then this comes out. Just in, White House will brief the incoming Trump administration on anomalous health incidents potentially caused by pulsed electromagnetic energy systems. We will be briefing the incoming administration on something that we told everybody was absolute lies. Maybe we called Mark Zuckerberg on this one. Hey, if you see a post on this, do you mind taking this down too for us? As a matter of fact, let me just don't ask. You take it down. On the full scope of the ongoing work that should continue, as well as additional areas of focus recommended by the intelligence community, those that we trust so much in their experts panel. We see how much misinformation they've provided over the years, which found that a subset of anomalous health incidents cannot be easily explained by known environmental or medical conditions, and that pulsed electromagnetic or acoustic energy remains a plausible explanation in certain cases. As with other health challenges faced by U.S. personnel that took years to diagnose, sustained clinical research and investigative work is necessary to clarify what caused the symptoms our colleagues have reported, develop effective medical interventions, and prevent future incidents. Our brave colleagues and their families who suffer real and sometimes serious injuries deserve no less. So, in other words, we're aware that this is going on. We believe we know what the cause is, but we haven't been able to do anything to fix it. So rather than the Trump administration being able to point the finger of blame at us, we're just going to go ahead and put it out now, because this investigation's not going to look so good. And those rumors swirling about General Motley, oh man, that's not so good. During the riots, it's rumored that he may have used such an instrument, which, if it's, can go two ways, by the way, folks. One is to disperse crowds. It's loud, you can hear it. The other setting is for sub-audible. And if that goes off, you don't know why suddenly you're so confused and angry and agitated, because you can't hear it. Man, I can't wait to see what this administration, this Trump administration, digs out of the woodwork, because they better look in every corner. They better dust off every closet and open it up, because there is information and transparency that we, the people, deserve. It's what we work day and night to provide you here. I love you all. Many, many more updates coming. I promise you that this is going to be a whirlwind year of information, and we will cover each and every bit of it for you. We are Restricted Republic News, and all we're looking for is unrestricted information so that we can report on each and every element. I love you all. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justice Knight, signing out.